It's changing all the time, and if you noticed a different side of mine, then I found what I've been looking for. 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 Should I wait? Should I stay to see it unfold? 'Cause I'm told I need it. I'm not frightened to take a step away, but my ship's a sail, and I'm here to tell that I don't mean like the others, and I keep searching, and I can't seem to find what I'm wanting. It's changing all the time, and if you notice a different side of mine, then I found what I've been looking for. 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 I've been running round, running round, running round. Now I'm down and out, down and out, down and out. Scared the magic might fade away. And I keep searching, and I can't seem to find what I'm wanting. It's changing all the time, and if you notice a different side of mine, then I found what I've been looking for. Found what I've been looking for. I keep searching, and I can't seem to find what I'm wanting. It's changing all the time, and if you notice a different side of mine, then I found what I've been looking for. 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 Found what I've been looking for.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Bienvenue. I hope I pronounce it correctly. Yeah, Chizzy, you're correct. You caught me. Congratulations. Are you happy now? All right. So, welcome to another beautiful, awesome, and amazing session where we'll be looking at reproducible data system fundamentals from our Docker file to a running instance. If you guys remember, since the last session I've been saying it over and over again. Hope you guys have installed your Docker. We've talked about the benefits of Docker. We're still going to talk about it again, and then we'll run a simple live demo to put things in perspective. But before I jump into anything, how are you guys doing? Let me know in the chat. How are you guys doing? How are you finding the course? Are you learning? Are you loving it? Are you happy? Have you found inner peace? Let me know. As usual, I'll be your host, Kayode John Balogun, data scientist / technical mentor, who will hold your hand in this session. Don't forget our rules of engagement. If you got any questions, put them in the Q&A. Use the chat feature liberally and respectfully, and don't forget to listen, learn, and engage. So I found out that by the time people get to the DE phase, even on the eHub and here, everybody is very, very quiet. It's cool though, it's cool. But please, if anyone is struggling, don't be shy, reach out. We are all learning. I don't know why that is, but everyone is quiet. It's rare to see a lot of chatter on the eHub or anywhere else or doing sessions, but it's cool. But please, if everything is looking like hieroglyphics to you, please reach out. Welcome once again, beautiful people. Let us jump in. So before we continue the jumping in, let's pause mid-air. How are you guys? I'm not moving forward without getting the vibe check about this course. How are you guys? How are you feeling? What is going on? What are going? Speak to me, people. For your mentor, hear it. Okay. All right. That is very much allowed. As is everything. Once you start learning anything, it starts off like that. It was to all of us here too. Okay. You mean on Athena or the webinar sessions? Chidi, do you mean on Athena? Okay, very understandable. That is why it's very important to attend this webinar session. You would, I hope at the end of this session you will be convinced and not confused. And understandable. But that's why we have these sessions to help show up one or two things. Yeah, but that's cool. That's cool. We go the extra mile in these sessions. Anybody else? Or all of you nominated Cheesy to speak for you? Everybody is cool and at peace. Okay, that's fine. I'm really grateful. Thank you so much. Yes, you. Okay, cool. Now you're asking questions that we're going to be handling as we move forward, but it's cool. It's cool you ask them. So thank you everyone. Thank you everyone. Thank you very much, Cheesy. This is very, very incredible feedback. And if you notice, it's something we too have noticed, and you notice we try to cover that up or to work on that, especially in this webinar session. So if you miss it, kindly watch the recording, or you can always go back to it and get so many things you would not get on Athena. Get them on this session. All right. Upembe has a question. I have a question. How to install Docker in Windows? I feel but so on Windows, yeah, I think very good. Thank you for asking this question now. So while I'm speaking, my suggestion is, yeah, I understand. I think I gave the guy for installing Docker, but what I'll say to us, everyone on listening to my voice, especially those of us who are playing with Docker for the first time, kindly just download the desktop app. It's pretty straightforward. Download the desktop app from the Docker website. Instead of trying to use your terminal and to install and following the commands straight from Athena, use the desktop app. And then with the desktop app, if you run into any issues, just go to the terminal and desktop app and just say Docker AI. Gordon comes up and rectifies any problem you have with Docker, be it an app, container, or image you built, whatever it is. Docker helps you. Are we cool, people? So you're not going to have this issue of I ran this command, I ran that command. Like I said, there might be some things with the content on Athena, but if you go this way, you would hardly miss it. You won't get wrong. You won't go wrong. Gordon will fix up any mess up with anything. So this goes for everyone. Yeah. Thank you so much for your feedback. You guys are amazing, as always. Now, let us jump to containerization with Docker. What is containerization? Cheesy asked a question that I thought I answered in the last session, but I know Cheesy was eating his popcorn, and so he did not listen to me when I was saying that. He said, also, do we have to, in fact, not that someone asked the same question last session. I remember now. You guys cannot trick me. Oh, yeah, you were eating plantain chips. Someone asked this very same question last session. It wasn't, and she's asking again. Also, do we have to use Docker when setting up a pipeline? So let us look at the definition of containerization before we answer that question, before Cheesy answers that question for us. You can see here, we still talk about benefits of Docker. I've spoken about it before, but we're just trying to reiterate before the live demo. Docker has transformed software development by introducing containers. Someone asked, what is a container? What is our container? We know a container contains something. But here it says where package applications and the dependent where package applications and the dependencies are put into a lightweight, consistent environment that simplifies building, testing, and deployment while ensuring portability and scalability across different systems. So there is this gray line. I don't know if it's a line. We're talking about software and pipeline. In this course, we're talking about software, think of pipeline. We're talking about pipeline, think of software too. Because we're using code to build them both. Do you guys agree with me or do you disagree? Let me know. Let me know in the chat. Let's know if we're going to fight about it now. If we start throwing blows or we start arguing now. Do you guys agree? If you can't type, let me see your emojis. Do you agree with my statement? In this course, when we're talking about pipeline, we're referring to software. When we're talking about software, you can also use it to infer to pipeline. Do you guys agree, yes or no? There is no middle ground. No. Please, no. Please. No, I want no. Someone might have strong opinions about it. That's why I'm asking in that way. Because we both use if well, okay, choose is a data application. Okay, this application, what did we use to build it? Thank you. Thank you. You answered it coming down. Software. So you can see from this definition. Can we argue? I'm still learning, no, Shego, I'm still learning to myself. Please argue me. I'm looking for argument because at times I want to see if someone thinks about things differently. As you, especially you are aware in our field that every week things change. Every week something comes up. Things change, paradigms change, and we have to adapt. So who knows? Maybe one of the learners has discovered something we don't know. So it's cool. I'm glad a lot of you agree with me. That's why even as because we're saying, please practice your Python, please practice your SQL. And even when you're going for job interviews, I will say, I've not gotten there. Say, please practice your PySpark. If I still ask you inner joins in PySpark, you'll be shocked. And they don't want you to use LLMs to do it, even though in this course you're allowed to use LLMs to do it. But at least I've given you a hint now. Most data engineering interviews, you still be acting your PySpark. Okay, do an inner join, do this, do that. So let us establish it going forward. We can infer to whatever we build in this course with our code as either our pipeline or software. So, like I said, and as some of you have experienced, and some of you have used that excuse, maybe in school, maybe to a client, maybe on a small project, you told them, or somebody told you, this thing worked on my laptop. Are we still together? In fact, if I remember last session, was it with you guys? I don't wonder if it was this cohort. There was a cohort where I ran something. I worked on it. I even showed I worked on this thing last night. And then during the live demo, I did not understand what was happening because I wasn't using Docker. I was trying to illustrate a point without Docker. But now with Docker, you can never have that excuse going forward. You can no longer say whether you're building a simple website, because today you're building a very simple web application that just displays text. You are building a complicated pipeline that is a movie recommender that feeds into a movie recommender. You are building whatever you are building. You can no longer have that excuse. It worked on my, that's why I know. And why? What is the key thing? What is the key feature that enables that? What is the key feature that removes that excuse? Let me know in the chat. Thank you very much. Thank you. It packages your entire pipeline or software along with the code, the tools, the libraries, exact configurations into a container. This container is very lightweight. The environment is consistent, can carry out testing and deployment so that you can no longer say, this does not work on my machine. all you need to do is simply run the container, and your data pipeline will run across all environments. Is Docker now making sense to us? Has Docker made sense to us? So if you ever think to yourself as I'm doing this course, oh Lord, what am I doing? Especially as I'm studying Docker, is I'm learning Docker, so that even if I'm not building pipeline, even if I'm building a simple application, I build it here and I'm at peace, knowing that anybody around the world that runs it, it will run. It will not just work on my machine. Okay, I'm seeing some comments in the chat. Okay, Jesus, theoretically, yes. Problem is syntax using Docker. Okay, yes, yes. So that is why we assume all of you have done all those courses before getting to data engineering. That is my assumption. I'm going with the fact that most of you all did all those courses before getting to data engineering. And me, I can remember clearly. I don't know if it was told to me, but I can remember clearly, at least in the Python sessions I took, and in the SQL sessions I took, and in these sessions I will take, do not cram syntax. Okay, DA course, that would be the DA course, data analytics course. That's your question. Do not, I think I've mentioned this. I don't know if I've mentioned this in okay. I don't think so. I think is it our first or second session of writing code? I think it's our first session writing code. I think so. Do not cram syntax. What did I say, good people? Do not cram syntax. Practice, 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 but do not cram syntax. And as we go forward, it's not going to be a specific. I think I mentioned this. We will be using agentic engineering. So we say practice and not cram syntax, so that even if you're working with an LLM to build your container or your image, you can detect errors and you can decide what you want to do. For example, maybe you want to efficiently manage your resources. It might not be in line with what the LLM provides, the code the LLM provides for you. That's why we say practice, so you understand what is going on. But in this day and age, as we go further, engineers, pipeline builders might not necessarily have to always write every single line of syntax. That's why I even say, if you notice something I said, that for those of us who have not downloaded Docker, download, even though you have downloaded Docker, make sure you have a Docker desktop. And then with Gordon AI, if you run into any issues, be it your syntax or anything, it will look at it and tell you and help you fix it. But it is important to understand syntax so we know what is happening before we reach AGI, where we can trust AI to know our problems even before we have them and solve them how we would want it to be solved. It will be important that we understand the syntax. For so many reasons, I've been in sessions where I'm using anti-gravity and then I read the usage limit. So imagine I didn't know the syntax. What will happen? Do you now understand use cases? And more often than not, if you actually go for job interviews, yes, some companies might allow you use LLMs. Some will only say you can only use you can only go to Stack Overflow, but you cannot tell it, okay, fix my code for me. Or even if you're using the LLM, it's just to give you the code, you need to ask it questions. So in this day and age, I'll be doing you a disservice if I tell you to cram syntax. Practice and practice to understand. You can type it or practice to understand, but more often than not, you find out that you're all aware in the age we are in. So I hope that has answered your question. I was having a line of thought, cheesy. Your question distracted me, and I can't remember what I wanted to say. But I think we've defined why we need Docker and why its key feature containerization is very important. Moving on. So, like I mentioned earlier, these are the challenges we had before containers. Environment inconsistencies. Now, how many of us here did the Python course? Let me see your emoji. Let me know in the chat. Because if you did the Python course and you had an issue whereby at times you find out that the notebook you submitted is not being picked up properly, you fell victim to the environment inconsistencies. Are we still together? But now, anyway, those things have been upgraded. They have been upgraded. So those in the future will not experience that. When you put in different packages that affect your submission. So you see here that differences in hardware and software across development, testing, and production can cause unexpected issues. Before I even go to Python, in SQL, remember how we used to tell you, for those of you who did the DA course, go and downgrade your SQL to this so that you can connect your MySQL Workbench to my Jupyter Notebook with Docker. Docker came to tackle that challenge. And then manual errors, when you're setting up systems manually, you can get mistakes, downtime, service failure. Go on air, you can go to air, pop up his head and be like, okay, what is the problem? Are you using a port? Because at times your syntax is correct. There's like, for example, this is the personal issue at times I have when I'm setting up, because I'm taking multiple cohorts, using multiple ports. So when I'm writing code, I don't even start writing down, okay, what port have I used? What port have I not used? I just write my default port. In fact, you might even see it today, my 5,000. And then most of the time I get an error. The code is correct, but it's telling me this port is being used by something else. I'm like, what the hell is this? Okay, create another port for me, Gordon. And Gordon just creates another port for me and we fire away. At times we keep iterating till we get a free port. And then I can say, okay, voila, learners, see what I was trying to illustrate. I will see it together. So that is an example of a manual error. You're trying to set up a system manually. If you configure the port, but you can't remember that you've used that port for something else. Scaling difficulties. If you're trying to expand traditional systems, a lot of manual work might be involved and might make it hard to change the workload. But Docker comes in to help us with that. Slow issue resolution without automation. Oh, believe you me, with Gordon, a lot is automated. Finding and fixing deployment problems will not take too long. So yeah, just seeing the advantages, the benefits of containerization. Hopefully it's beginning to make sense to you. That's why I'm explaining it this way. I didn't just go straight to, okay, let's just create a simple Docker file. And like we mentioned the earlier definition, we said it's portable. Containers run consistently across different computing environments. It's efficient, uses fewer traditional resources than our VMs. Very easy to scale. You isolate it so there's no conflict. And when you have a CI/CD workflow, very easy to okay, let me know his acronyms. But I'm sure we all know what CI/CD means. When you're developing, you're integrating, you're deploying, you do this quickly with Docker. They make life very simple way of doing that. So this is a concept, containerization is a concept that revolutionizes software development by doing all these amazing things, giving us a lightweight, portable, and scalable solution for building applications. Applications, i.e., pipelines. Let's not forget. Remember, I've challenged, sorry, excuse me, I've challenged you guys to dispute the fact, and everybody concord, or so I think. So Docker simplifies containerization and is very important. especially in modern software engineering, i.e., data engineering, i.e., pipeline building. Thank you very much. Are we still together? Or is somebody not with us? Are we still together? I want us to move together. Are we still together, people? If we're together, let me hear. Hey, oh, sorry, your mics are muted. You can't speak. So now to Cheesy's favorite part, the syntax of Docker. So these are just examples of commands. If you've installed Docker, excuse me, if you've installed Docker, if you want to check, try your Docker version, show you the version. If you want to pull an image, don't worry about images now. Don't worry, but in due course. Next session, you guys are going to create an image that I want to see. So when I go online, I want to see that image. You're not going to be graded on it. But like Cheesy rightly pointed out, there's some things you don't see on Athena that we include here, our exercises, and for your own benefit, even though they're not going to be graded on it, but if you carry it out, honestly, it's a plus for you. So I encourage each and every one of us to try it out. If you try it out, let me know. I'll look for it. You can send me image, link on eHub, or even when the session starts after that one, put in the chats and check it out. Honestly, it's really cool. You build an image, and anyone around the world can go to the Docker registry and pull it. So, but don't worry about images for now. Don't worry about images. Don't worry about images. But it's the command to pull an image. Docker pull. If it's Ubuntu, you want. You want on the container, Docker run. You want to list running containers, list all the containers, rename a container, stop container, etc. The other commands, but just a sample. You don't have to cram them, but you can practice. Are we still together, people? Am I too fast or too slow? Or going at the perfect pace? Or should I change my accent? Okay. I want to take this silence for you guys like cheesy are holding plantain chips in your hand, so you cannot reply, or you are chewing or drinking something. It's very much allowed. All right, Charles is giving the all clear sign. We can advance. So hammer on the point of the role of Docker in modern development. We want consistency across environments. No more, it only works on my machine. It should work everywhere. Then for collaborations, QA engineers and operations teams, by using Docker images, they can share standardized environments, reducing setup time and removing differences between the teammates, their systems, there are no discrepancies. Everyone moves along smoothly together. I remember I mentioned CI/CD before, so faster development cycle. We are building the plane as it's flying. Docker is helping us in that process. It's lightweight, quick to start. We're iterating. There's a mistake, we cancel, we go back. We're moving with speed. Quickly. Portability, very, very lightweight, as we mentioned before. So it's portable. It's not going to be like, I remember when I wanted to set up, okay, there are things I've been trying to set up on my own system, and then, oh, I get the running, we are running out of memory. No, Docker won't do that to you. It won't hurt you that way. So whether it's a developer's laptop, a cloud server, on-premise data center, very portable, making it easy to deploy applications across multiple platforms. Then resource efficiency as a data engineer. Remember, let's not forget, we are dealing with big data. We are going to be handling a lot of resources. Now, for this course, a lot of things might be free because maybe you're using local storage, we're on the cloud, but in production environment, every query, every pipeline, every data ingestion, all the storage costs money. You don't want to be the guy wasting the company's resources. This is where Docker comes in. They make sure that the whole systems kernel they are resource efficient. As a developer, you can run more containers on the very same hardware, reducing your infrastructure cost. So don't worry, if you're on the cloud, you don't have to create more EC2 instances. I have a feeling some of us know what EC2 instances are. Do we? Do we know, beautiful people? Do we? Ah, okay. So before I jump in, okay, Victor says, because this, um, I don't know if I should have used that example. So don't worry, forget about the phrase EC2 instance. Um, so on cloud platforms, yeah, they provide different resources for storage, for computation, for so many things. So you're dealing with big data, it's on the cloud, because you're not the only one working on it. You're provisioning resources. Docker comes in to make sure that we are not spending too much of our funds on virtual machines or more computing resources or infrastructure costs because of efficiency. It shares the whole system's kernel. But just, in fact, don't even worry. But just know that it helps when you're provisioning resources, computing resources. Docker is very understanding and helps to reduce costs. Yeah, let's leave it at that. Does that make sense, people? Okay, cool. So, you guys see where I cleared my throat before starting. And so, as we get a little bit technical before we go for the demo, I want to retrace something I mentioned earlier. I said, um, do not worry about cramming syntax, but just practice. And at first, like Cheesy said, um, things, yes, would kind of look confusing. But anything you're starting to learn as a beginner, some of us are beginners, it will definitely look confusing. Are we still together? Are we still together, people? All right. But with time, with practice, I'm sure. Let me give this example. Or is there an encouragement now or a testimony? The the previous cohort before you guys, a lot of us started without knowing a lot of things. When it came to the portfolio showcase, I was surprised with what a lot of them built, even things they were not even taught, tools they were not taught. And I'm sure a lot of people that built those amazing portfolios, when we started, a lot of things were confusing. So do not be dismayed, do not panic, do not feel bad. That is the normal first step. That is natural first step. That's why we say practice. That's why even though there's content on Athena, we still have webinars. We still even say, please reach out. So even if some things sound weird or funny, once you keep repeating them, once you keep sorry, it's Shagun's comment. Yes, of course. Of course, Shagun, God is in control. So once you keep repeating them, once you keep practicing, it won't be as confusing. So although I had a feeling, okay, for Chizi to say that, it means he went ahead and then saw these things and then ran back. No, it's pretty cool. That's how everybody starts. No, please do not be dismayed. Do not be dismayed at all. I'm telling you, for all of us here, you're going to be content, I think the MCQs, attending webinars. By the end of this, excuse me, by the end of this course, you will be laughing. You'll be wondering, is this what you were so worried about? And then everything starts like that. Everything you're there. So even if it's a new hobby you want to pick up, it is not common for you to do something you don't know anything about. My dad used to say, nobody came with knowledge from heaven. You just pick it up like that. So you go to a new field, you go to a new place, they use different terminologies. You too, with time, you will pick it up. So be not dismayed, my people. God is in control. Are we still together? So now we've come here, even if the description of Docker architecture, things like the clients, the daemon, they don't make sense to you, it is very, very much fine. This is our introduction. We still have, I think, 3 more weeks talking about Docker. Yeah. So relax. You can go back to your snacks. So regarding Docker architecture, don't worry about all these words here. If somewhere, maybe by mistake, you hear something about a Docker daemon, those are something that runs in the background of the host machine. It manages the container creation, the execution, the images, the volumes, and networking. It also listens for API requests from the Docker client. That's what it does. Don't need to cram all the functions now. Just don't worry, we'll keep repeating it till it sticks. And part of the Docker architecture too, there's something called the client. This is our CLI tool or our command line interface tool used to interact with the Docker daemon through commands. So you send commands like Docker run, Docker pull, Docker build. Are we still together? Ah, ah. So there's an A before the E. And okay, you guys have this hobby of taking me to. I think we should all look at the epitomology of the word demon and then understand why some tech tools are giving some funny names before we start casting and binding. Yeah. Is that okay, cheesy? uh okay. And then we have our registries. Like I said, where you guys create your image, I would love to go there and look at it. Uh, you're allowed to. You're allowed to. Okay. There's joke that's coming to my mind, but I don't know how many of you are into 40K Warhammer 40K. Let me know in the chat. Let me know if some of my people are here. If you're into Warhammer 40K, and then maybe the joke could make sense. But anyway, what was that? Registries, yeah. Centralized repositories for storing and sharing our container images. So when you guys create it, you can go to the registry and look at it or pull it. Docker Hub is the default public registry. You can set up your own private registry if you want. Next, look at Docker's core objects. We have our Docker images. I'm sure you've been hearing, I think like from the third slide or so, you've been hearing image, image, image. Wait, so none of you here are into Warhammer 40K. Don't worry. You have to do it a spirit of the machine joke, but do not panic, cheesy. So where was that? Images. They are read-only templates. They used to create containers. They contain everything you need for your application, including the code, the runtime, libraries, dependencies. They're the building blocks for our containers, and they can be shared across different environments, making sure that your application runs not only on your laptop. And then our containers, these are instances of our Docker images, essentially the runtime. This is where the application is actually running. They're very lightweight and they're isolated. So nothing comes in the way of it running. It is launched from the image. It inherits everything you've specified in the image, but operates independently from the host system and other containers because it is isolated so that nothing spoils whatever you're building. I hope we are still together. I hope we are still together, people. Oh, what is this? Oh, don't mind me. Okay, Detro says yes. So, okay. Then we look at networks. As we go further in the coming weeks, we're looking at network. We'll focus on networks, we'll focus on volumes. By default, our Docker containers are isolated from each other, but at times they need to communicate. A network is needed. So in multi-container applications, you need any communication between different containers. You need your Docker network. We have a way of creating them. They have their own syntax, but don't stress, don't worry. We look at them. But today, remember, it's just a gentle introduction. And then we have our volumes in Docker where we provide persistent storage for our containers. Persistent storage meaning you don't lose your data. Because see, by default, any data inside the container is lost when the container is stopped or removed. So you now say that, okay, what if you are building an application that needs to store data? This is where our volumes come in. So ignore the big English and don't say, okay, when it comes to Docker volumes, okay, they help in storing data. Are we still together, people? So, without any further ado, why don't we just jump into our live demo and then build a simple Docker file, carry out the container lifecycle from creation to shutting it down properly so that our ports are free. All right. So I'm sure we all know how I got here. Let me make this bigger. What is that command again for enlarging? Is it command plus now for making the fonts bigger? Wait. Yeah, I got it. So do we all know how I got here? I know all of you did Python. I know it. I know it in my spirit. We all know how we got here. This is my ID, anti-gravity. What? Okay, it's cool. It's cool. I'm cool. So this is my ID, anti-gravity. Some of you might be using Cursor. Some of you might be using VS Code. Some of you might be using, I don't know, give me names of other IDs. Cursor, VS Code. If you're angry, some of you might even be on Replit. Some of you might be using Notepad++. Some of you might be using PyCharm. Oh, thank you. Oh, you guys are awesome. So I opened it. And then, if I opened it, I created a folder. Because there are many cohorts. I created this specific folder for this cohort, DEC11. Because if I combine it with the other folder for different cohorts, I don't be having issues when I'm running the application. So you guys are special. I created your own special folder, DEC11. I did everything in lowercase. I'm surprised to even see it in uppercase right now. Are we still together? And then I created these 3 files. Our app.py. This is our app that we're going to containerize in Docker. Amen, people. Are we still together? And then the requirements. So anyone that is going to run it anywhere will know this is what this app needs to run. And then our Docker file. laying out the specification, saying, okay, Docker, for this file, let this be this, let this be that. So you see how it's being created. App.py, our Python file, requirements.txt, it knows, okay, we're building a Python application. Then Docker file, no extension, just write your Docker file. And your ID, any modern ID, I don't know, for those of you using Notepad++, or even using your normal Notepad to code, yes, there might be some gurus like that just write their code on Notepad or even Google Docs or Microsoft Word. Yes, Chizzy. Chizzy, you look like somebody that writes your code on Google Doc. Or what is that? What is that? What is that? Yes, not Notepad, Notepad. Yeah, it's okay. Just call Notepad on Windows. In a while, I've used Windows. But when they want to specify, you can run it in your terminal and it will go. If you build it, you put your extension in your notepad, it will run on your terminal. And if you want to do things the hard way. Now, okay, where was I? So this is how we got here. I was explaining how we got here. This is how we got here. Let me see ask that question. So peace, are you cool? Do you understand how we got here now? We opened the IDE and then we created all these files exactly like this. Docker file, no extension, requirements.txt, then our app.py, because we've been hammering since when you guys, even before you started the course, please practice your Python and SQL as using Python as the main language for this course. So I'm glad we all know how we got here. So without any further ado, let's just build a very simple Flags app to just display something on a web page. So you see from Flags import this, okay, yeah, yes, Flags, and then so it's going to be just very little, but bear in mind it could be done for something bigger. Yeah. Okay, app name. Let me see if autocomplete is giving me what I want. App, outer, find, home, return, hello world. Okay, cool. Instead of hello world, let's see. This is, yeah, reproducible data system with an exclamation mark. Okay. Save. Let me just go through this once again. I said, let's not just blindly accept what he gave us in case it's not what we want. All right. Cool. Next, our requirements. The Flags want to use, say, on Flags. Okay, 3.0. Cool. And now, the meat of the matter. Remember, excuse me. For a Docker file, there's no extension. You just type in your Docker file and then you fire away. So for Docker file, we first start it. Even from my importation, we can see that not from base image. Okay. In Python 3.9 Steam. See, we're talking about 3. We're talking about it. We're talking about Docker being lightweight and portable. So Python 3.9 Slim. What directory? Look at the app. Copy requirements.txt. Pip install no cache directory. And requirements.txt. Copy expose to our port. I have a feeling this port will not go, but don't worry. God don't help us look for a port that is going to work. And then we save. So, very lightweight. Are we still together? Are we still together, people? Let me move this Zoom menu and see what is happening in the chats. Okay. We're saying yes. So, note or do not forget when you are putting your requirements.txt before application code, it does demonstrate Docker layer caching, especially doing rebuild if you are running it again. So it runs faster. Remember, we've talked about caching. I remember I had to explain caching and co-location. Yes. Cheesy cannot deny it. You have been caught. So you can see how Docker even helps with caching here. Yeah, so we're good to go. I just save this. Okay, our terminal is set. So let's build. Remember our build command. We say Docker build. Let's give this can build. Let's name this webinar. Nadia's app. Let's call this version 1.0. Okay, hopefully we have no issues. Enter to run. Okay. Yep, we're good to go. You know what? Hold on, guys. Let me make this guy bigger. So I hope everyone is seeing my screen and the ID I'm using and what is happening right now. If you can, please kindly let me know in the chat. So you can see it step by step, installing our requirements of txt dot txt. Sorry, I was tongue tied. And everything it needs to do. Starting to image, layers, etc. And if you want to see the exact build details on your desktop, you fire away. So when you rerun, you find out that this command instantly completes due to the cache layer that I mentioned before. Don't stress too much about syntax, even the commands. Remember, just practice. I hope we get to use Godot so you guys can see what I've been trying to see. So next, let us run our container. So oh dear. Okay, we spell Docker again. Docker run uh run. Okay, since I use 5,000 here. Okay. But you know one funny thing, before I continue, you guys don't even need to even be typing out all these commands, but to fulfill righteousness, we have to do it this way. God can run everything for you and just give you the local host address for you to check out everything. But it's good, like I said, we understand the basics. So that if run into any issues in the future, we can forge ahead, we can fire ahead, we can know what to do. At Cheesy is celebrating. If this was a live class where I could see, I would ensure that everybody writes the commands. I was grading any exam in my front. Cheesy, you're celebrating, I'm watching you. So yeah, that's the good news, guys. You cannot still go on to just run everything here, but to fulfill our righteousness and so that we understand what's going on, it's very important that we understand this. Sorry, my okay, my Zoom menu was coming. So yeah, what was the name again? Okay, name. Let's see, webinar. webinar container. Mm. Okay, webinar container. Then okay, webinar DS app version 1. Okay. In webinar DS app v1.0. So hopefully you run this and we don't have any issues. Okay, what's the problem? No, I don't want to use Gordon yet. Let me try something. Yeah, I think I spelled everything else. Webinar container. Ah, so what's the problem? Oh, yeah, very good. So can we see what the problem is? Remember I said we might run into this while we're even writing the code. Can we see what the problem is? Look and let me know in the chat. What is the problem? Why isn't it running? I'm waiting for you guys. Look at the problem. The issue is there. What's the problem? Please let me know in the chat. I'm waiting for you guys. All right, thank you very much. So I can do something now. I can start trying 5,001, 5,002, 5,003, and so on and so forth. But we have a webinar to run. So we come here and say, let me copy this error. You know what? I'm just even copy the guide. What's next? It was saying Docker AI help out. So I just copy the issue and the recommendation from Docker, hand it over to Gordon. Gordon, come alive. Yes, people, this is Gordon. Everybody say hi to Gordon. So I give you permission, allowed for all tools. I just select A. And then it's working on it. Help you with the container error. Command, having to go created 3 files. Whenever started, it's checking. And Docker is stuck in created state with no logs. Let me start it. where he says hi, Gordon. Gordon says hi back. uh, okay, so port 5,000 is already in use. Let me check what container is running. Okay. Blah 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 blah. So it is saying if I go to, it's now running, it's fixed it up for me in the back end. The demons did their stuff, everything is running. It's not telling me if I go to localhost 5,001 or where's my default browser? I should see it. So can we now see our web app? The output, reproducible data system active. We just need to print something very simple. Can we now all see it? All right. Barry says he can see it. It's Barry the only one that can see it. Chizzy, you can't see it. All right. So we wrote a simple web application in Python to just print out this statement, reproducible data systems active. But we did this in Docker so that we don't build it. And if someone says, okay, where's that web app you said you built? We don't have the excuse of it not running. That's why we did all the provisioning we did, and we put everything in Docker. Containerized. So this our web app is containerized. Are we still together, people? Am I making sense? Or are we still, do we still have, do we still have, do we still have our snacks in our mouth? But Harry, Gordon says hi too. Are we still together, people? Do we all know how we got here? The group chat is silent. Do we pause, call it a day, close, and go? We just did something very, very light. A simple web app that just displays a text. But we did it using our Docker so that it is scalable. You want to increase the size, you can reproduce it anywhere. Anybody can run it anywhere, anytime, however they like it. That's the summary of what we've been doing. Are we still together, people? I don't like the quiet group chat. Make some noise. If you can't type, let me see the emojis. Ooh. Oh, oh there. No, I want the learners. I want the learners to make some noise. Let me see, because everybody is quiet now. I don't want us to be quiet at this stage because we are going further and further. We're going deeper and deeper. Cheesy, how far? Peace, are you okay? So, um, okay. I'm so sorry. I'm just seeing the chat right now. Cheesy says yes and no. He also says it will take personal practice. And he said, can you show us the requirements again? So just for, because we're using Flask, requirements was just use Flask version 3.0. Now, I don't want to say this because I know Chidi will be very excited for this news. All what I did here, do you know Gordon can do it? I mean, even this Docker file, even this app, even these requirements, Gordon can even rewrite the file. Are you aware? See, you are celebrating. You are celebrating. But at the very least, that's why if you notice, it's not for nothing I asked the question. I said, do you know how we got here? So, okay, let me even tell you why one of these I created a new folder. Thank you. Thank you. Even though in the future you might not even have to know a line of syntax, but at the very least, it's for understanding. There's an error somewhere. If somebody tells you sorry for whatever reason, I cannot use Flags 3.0. You can go to your requirements file and know, okay, even if it was Docker that created it for you, and know, okay, let me edit this myself. Or if you tell Gordon, please, not Flags 3.0, some another version, you can go there and see, okay, if you did the correct thing. Does that make sense? So on your own, when you're playing with Gordon, in fact, after doing it manually, in fact, I wanted to say, okay, I'll give you guys the 3 files, but you don't need, you can just still go on, create an app.py file, a Docker file, requirements file, a simple one that does display simple text. Create your file for your ID. By the end of the day, when you get your certificate, will you feel like you've learned something? If you run into an issue, and by the way, I think Docker runs on a subscription. I'm not sure because I've never really exhausted it too. If you run into an issue and there is no Gordon, there is no LLM to help you, there is no AI around. And okay, some of us I know have local instances of LLMs on their machines. Cool. I'm one of those. I think I installed Quen now. I use Quen, but still, you never know. But I hope we're still together. I hope you understand everything that is going on here. Before I continue, I'm going to close Gordon right now. We're cool with Gordon. We're feeling happy. We're feeling nice. Um, yes. So we can do some other things. Um, so let's say we want to inspect and see how far what are gone with this little app we created. We just use Docker inspect. How do you spell inspect? INSP. No, okay. INSESPECT. Docker inspect. The name of our webinar app again. Okay. Webinar hyphen TS hyphen app. Um oh, it was looking for version 1.0. So metadata, the description, the size, and the likes. This comes in. Yeah, and then I move this menu. This comes in for so many things. Remember, you've not gotten data lineage. But I know I'm feeling I've talked to you about when you want to reproduce stuff, not just debugging, but even for good reasons to see, okay, this was how it was done that made it work. This was how it was done that made it click. Can go to the metadata and see how everything look under the hood, as they say, and see what's happening. Are we still together, people? I know the chat will be silent now, but it's cool. It's allowed. Like I said, this is something very. I do. Should I even? Should we shut down? Should we just continue looking at some other things? I don't want us to. Remember, we just in summary what we did here. I'm sorry, I'll keep repeating this. We just built a simple web app using Docker in Docker because we want it containerized. But Docker has so many things, so many features, so many stuff. Like we are here to we'll be building massive pipelines. Yeah. So this pipeline is software, they are our apps in a way. We want them containerized. Docker is there to provide, you know what? Let me just, I don't know whether I should minimize this. Let's not look at all this. Are we still together now? So that does things like if you want to inspect, let's say we're debugging or something, don't worry, Gordon is there for us. Can request all this from Gordon, but like I said, we need to understand the basics. This, okay, this entire session we've had, are we still together? We're just looking at, okay, what is Docker all about before we start even building stuff on Docker? But we just do a very light example. A simple web app that just shows reproducible data systems active. Oh dear, Chidi is not saying yes. Chidi is saying, Okay, if there's any issue, please let anyone let me know in the chat right now. If there's any issue, don't, like I said, don't off. So, okay. I think maybe before I answer this question, do you know you can build your pipeline without Docker? Yes, yes. So you can reproduce it. Yes, yes. And this case, though, okay, you already do that. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. And we didn't go forward to just use, if you have any issue, just use Godon to resolve it with your pipeline. On your pipeline, just Godon or Docker AI to resolve it. But it's good to understand under the hood, cheesy. It's cool, yeah, building it already. That's pretty awesome. Well done. So I kind of feel like what's going on here is making sense to you. We didn't we didn't just go ahead and build a full pipeline on Docker because baby steps. And even with just this simple web application, the group chat is silent. So think of it as we built an app or what do you call it? A simple pipeline, but we are using Docker so that we don't give the excuse of, hey, it worked on my laptop. And it's fine. You can use Gordon. That is how going forward in the future, you're even expected to work with these LLMs so that you're supposed to know, you're supposed to understand what is happening under the hood in case issues arise. Are we still together, people? So, like I said, if there's no single command I've written here that you can't just instruct Gordon to do for you. Talking and typing, hope I'm not typing wrong thing. Yes, okay, yeah. So that copy 1.0. Uh, how am I feeling like maybe we should um pause at this junction and not go further. But please, if anyone is understanding at all what we are doing, let me know in the chat. It might not be exactly what I'm doing now, 'cause I'm going to explain more. Let me know in the chat so far where we've gotten to running. Let me know in the chat. Let me see your emojis, please. Um, I'll soon check out the. Let me just. Nah. How come it not this up 1.0? Okay. Oh dear. Hmm. Hmm. Jacinta says lost. Okay, Jesus requirement get reflected in Docker. Hmm. Lost. Lost. She's very serious. So, Jacinta, can you let me know in the chat where exactly things got funny? Please let me know in the chat where the things get funny. Because there's some things we really need to understand at this stage so that when we begin, when we go deeper, it make a lot of sense to us. At the comment stage. Okay. I think it kind of rhymes with Chase's question. So are you asking why do we need the requirements.txt? Okay, no, no, no. I'm not worrying. I'm not. Okay, okay, okay. You see, I was even thinking you're asking a different question. But from what when you say you're going to what, do you mean how we got to requirements or the requirements file itself? You can see something very simple. We can just quickly tidy up now. How I got the file. So we created it. You create it. Does that make sense, Jacinta? You create the requirement. All these three files, we created them ourselves. I don't know if you were listening earlier. I said, can anyone else go down to create them for you and fill them with code? But here we came, I started from us coming to the IDE. And then when we got to the IDE, we, what you call it? We created these files by ourselves. Yes. My mind went somewhere else, but I'm glad. That's why I said, please ask so I can. That's how we got here. Okay. Now to this question, I'm saying, yeah, so how does the requirement file help Docker? So I'm sure we're familiar with the word dependency. This requirement file acts as a dependency blueprint for our app.py, our application container inside the container. It tells Docker which third-party library must be downloaded and installed inside the isolated Linux environment so that it can run without missing any package errors. I'm sure, or I don't know, I'm sure, Chizime, if you build, have you built apps where you use your requirement.txt file? I know if you are building like for Streamlit and others at times, you have your requirements.txt. I don't know if any of you have built apps where you use your requirements.txt. All right. So you just say, okay, this is the Python for this specific instance, saying this is the Python library that must be downloaded and installed inside our isolated Linux environment. So Docker copies requirements.txt from our host machine. For example, I'm using a MacBook from my MacBook into the working directory. And then it runs our run pip install and installs them into the internal Python directory. Is that making sense to you? So I don't know if you remember when I mentioned, okay, the TXT, the order, right? I think you write your TXT before your, okay, hold on. Um, so you write your TXT before you do your Docker file because it matters when you are building your cache. Like I said, when you run it again, it will run quickly. You install the dependencies first because more often than not, they're the slowest part of building an image. And for the sake of speed, I don't know if that makes sense. So when we say flags 3.000, we are putting the exact version. It logs the application dependency tree. Make sure that identical package installation is across anybody that is using it, using the idea is the same package installation, is not changing. So when we come to our Docker file, we say copy these requirements. We're building a web app, so Flask is Python for web apps. That's why we specified Flask. Does that make sense, Cheesy? Thank you. Now, trying to recollect my train of thought. Is there anybody else? Speak now or forever hold your peace. I'm just kidding. You can always ask questions. Yes. Yes, it is, Cheesy. Um, so where was I? I was contemplating, I was thinking about illustrating, um, thinking about illustrating something now. Okay, I'll remember. Uh, um, okay, save and load offline bundles. Let's save and load offline bundles. Let me make this bigger. Let's see. Okay, save. Okay, no, data. Open, let's go up. Uh, and then over webinar up. Up version 1.0. Okay, now load it. Uh, all right, so image loaded. Um, okay, so we saved it, Keyshot it offline, the archive file, we gave it to webinar underscore app dot. If you want to load it up again. Um, okay, we've inspected. Okay, yeah, so we just save the image using our .tar as a .tar file in our archives. Um, should we do pull and push? So these are just commands. Okay, you know what? We can do push and pull it. Can do push and pull, and then we can just tear down everything and complete the life cycle, and then jump into questions. Okay, let's pull. Remember, warning, rated 18. All commands here can be done using Gordon. Helpful, set outline. Um, so let's push this up to, okay, pull complete. Let's push webinar DS app and Docker push. What's the name we give it again? Okay, Docker, Docker Hub user. Docker hub, your Docker hub, user, webinar, yes, this app 1.0. This is correct. Okay, push access denied. Exam require authorization. Failed to authenticate. Push access exam is insufficient. So why can't we push to repository? Me. Okay, failed to authorize. Make this bigger and see why could not push. Visit does not exam require authorization. Is insufficient scope authorization field. Does not have permission to do so. Okay. Push it to repository. Should we just proceed to tearing down, or should we get Gordon to help us fix it? Let me know in the chat if we're still together, if it's getting too, because it was a very light introduction. Should we, or should we tear down? You guys do hard things. Let's fix it. Let's see why there's no authorization. Not now. Guess as much. And repo. Okay. So what was our command? Okay. Command was like push your Docker hub user. Although if it's asking me to log in, I will not log in your presences version 1.0, and my user is but we still together, people. All right. So in fact, okay, after this, we'll just clean up. Normally, if I want to clean up, if no, I'll just tell go down clean up, but we look at the commands for cleaning up so that it's not every time Gordon does everything for us. So that we complete our container life cycle. All right. Where was I? Okay. And I almost even I think I just interrupt, but I think we get the gist of it when we want to push to the hub. I think I'll interrupt this. Then okay. It was pushed successfully on the Docker hub. So the tag mismatch was there, causing the so under my hub username, next reference on the hub, automate builds. Okay, this second part, we're not doing we're not doing this for now. So please, when you no, do not copy the text. When you install your Docker Hub, kindly look for this app we created on our Docker Hub. Are we still together? Are we still together? I'm going to ask next week if you guys saw it. When you install it, you have your Docker Hub desktop application. Look for it here. Look for it there, sorry. Are we still together? We can search for it now if you are not that occupied. Okay, awesome. So let me exit and then tear down this guy. What is it? Okay, yeah, Control C. Yes, we want to exit. So next, let's stop our container. I think stop our container. I don't know if I should remove it or remove the image because I say you guys should look for it. Don't worry, we'll create another image that you guys can see on the hub. Let's remove the container. Remove webinar container. Let me spell container again. Remove webinar container. Remove. That's spell it correct. Remove webinar container. Move the webinar container. Okay. This is there. Okay. So let's continue with our tearing down. I will give me on 1.0. Sorry, I typed in O instead of 0. 1.0. Contact. Cool. And we're done. Oh, you could just tell Gordon to please properly tear down your resources. Okay. What was I? All right. So I think a lot of us followed how we got here. Our web app here. We can now jump back into our slides and have a look at the Q&A. So please can you throw your questions in here if there's anything. Okay. Let me move this. I'm seeing some questions here. Okay, Victor says, emergency that asks about DBT code, which part of so Victor, my man, we would not be using DBT for this particular course. But like I said, honestly, not like if you grasp the concepts and even the tools we teach you here, if you understand SQL, you want to, I'm sure you're familiar with DBT, or at least you've seen some DBT. If you understand even your SQL very well, you find out that you easily be able to segue into DBT, or you find DBT that hard. I have done some DBT myself. So when I keep hammering, practice your Python, practice your SQL, there are a lot of reasons why you find out that there are different tools. Once you understand the core concepts, the languages, and if you use tools that are similar, you can fire away. So I I hope that makes sense. Okay. Tracy says, so is the one thing we run for the app actually running the script? For example, if you build an ETL pipeline with extract and load models, would the one thing actually run for the actual script running the ETL? For the actual script, yes. Like, okay. The work directory controls the directory context for both the image build process and the running container. So it's like, um, um, if you mean when you're talking about the actual script running the CTL, running the ETL, if you mean okay, the command executed while building the image, then yes. Because it tells, during the runtime where I have your script execution, it tells Python where to look for and execute. For example, in our case, our app.py. Does that make sense, Cheesy? Okay. So, our work directory, it controls the directory context for both the image build process and running the container. And now you are building your pipeline with your container. So the directory, it tells Python, especially when it comes to script execution, it tells Python what to look for and what to execute. So, okay, you say you get that. Is that explanation okay, or should I stop? I'm saying you wrote you get that. Yes, if in the separate modules. So, like I said, okay. When there can be pipelines within pipelines. You built a pipeline. You're familiar with that concept, right? So I'm trying to understand what you mean the script and the entire pipeline, the actual script running the ETL. There can be pipelines within pipelines. So based on context, if it's a specific pipeline, then yes, it is relevant for that pipeline. It's telling Python where to look for and execute the pipeline from inside the app. Or in our case, we deal our app.py inside the app. But if we're having a pipeline that fits a pipeline that fits a pipeline, then that's a different case altogether. The working directory might not or not be relevant for those other pipelines. But you have to find a way to, okay. Are you done? I saying okay, or cheese is you? Is that okay? Is the explanation okay, or should I keep going further? Okay, cool, awesome. But for the sake of, we don't start going into pipelines within pipelines or pipeline feeding pipelines. No, that's why I just use a very simple example today. Okay. I think I'm not seeing any other question again in the Q&A. I'm thinking there's something in the chat. Jacinta is saying, do we have any assignments and coursework on it? Okay, no, you don't have. Yeah, good to go for this week. Enjoy. Because we're getting to this part, I won't just say enjoy. If you can practice what we've done here today, yeah, it's not going to be graded, but just practice. You guys have seen how these things can be tricky, but I've given you like a code on how to go about it. Guys got on everything, but if you're going to practice, excuse me, it's so that you understand what is happening under the hood. And if there are any issues or any problems, you can go ahead and resolve them. So yeah, for this week, on Athena, you are good to go. But please, please, practice. Is that okay, Asinta? Like I said, I'll be giving you plenty stuff. We're not grading it, but it's very important to go ahead and try them out. Okay. I've launched the poll now. Please kindly. All right, that's a cool. I've launched the poll now. Please kindly go ahead and let me know how you felt about this session. Do not forget, there is always love and support for you on the eHub, where you can ask the data programs team, and on Fresh Decks, where you could have a program support. Maybe you're having issues with the platform, you can't log in, can't answer base and the like. And then on answer base, where we give you specific answers to technical questions, you can even just take a screenshot. You don't have to explain your problem, you fire away over there, and we will be there for you, helping you find what you're looking for. But for the moment, please live in the moment. See you guys next week.